In 2014, South Africa shared a rank on the Human Development Index with Syria. The Human Development Index measures our well-being, our access to health, our access to opportunity, our access to education. And children bear the brunt of this collapsing social system. They make up 40% of our population. And until we can effect substantial change amongst our children, we will continue to see social development imploding. This is why we look to our social entrepreneurs, and particularly to innovation, to big innovation, which technology allows us to do, to really catalyze effective change for South Africa's children. One of our leading innovators is Glennie, who joins us. Mara, welcome.
Thank you.
So let me paint a picture. I'm a young child. I'm being brought to the hospital because something has happened. How does your app kick in? Who uses it? Who fills in the information? And what happens to that information to connect a child or identify that they might be at risk?
At present, the clinician will be responsible for filling in the documentation. However, the difficulty is you have to get them to buy in. So right now we have buy-in of our next trial from the clinicians. We need to take it to the next stage with university approval from Wits University, where you go through a standard procedure, because we have to protect the medical information which is confidential at all times whilst getting justice for the abused children. And in answer to your earlier question, the primary care provider is normally the one who brings them in.
So we are essentially creating, in the long term, a children at risk register. Am I understanding this correctly? It seems to be a very powerful tool for us to be able to use and tackle child protection in South Africa.
Absolutely, and my research has shown that there isn't another system like this in the world. In fact, we entered a competition last year, which we didn't win, but we were 6th in the world, and 2 of my staff went to England, and we were top in 5 out of 6 points. The point where we have to improve, which is why I'm speaking to you today, I'm hoping that we will get the necessary funding, that we need to do a bigger trial and show how we can turn it into an economically viable application that serves good as well.
So what have been the biggest barriers in this journey to developing the application and bringing stakeholders on board, piloting? What have you struggled with most?
I think some of the biggest barriers are that NPOs and NGOs, which we are at this stage, hoping to transform into a business that actually funds their own way forward, as you said at the beginning, which is vital, using technology that can be used in other countries in the world as well. However, our problem is that rape and abuse is a stepchild of South African grant funding. If one reads the newspaper on an ongoing basis, you see this, and this charity may be closing their doors and is having a last-minute fundraiser. And we really need to become sustainable business facilities, not managing on handouts.
And this seems to be a classic model for social innovation and enterprise. So there's a great innovation, a use of existing technology and adapting it to tackle social change. But your funding model seems strong. It seems that you're able to sell on the product into big health systems, both locally and internationally. Is that the plan, and how long do you expect that to take?
100%. That is the plan, because one needs to become sustainable, so you employ the right people, not the people who are willing to do the work. Very, very important. And the other aspect is that you need a model that encompasses both businesses doing good and people doing donations. So if you were a very poor hospital, the product could be donated. But if you were an affluent hospital, you could buy the product, which would then make the facility or the services available. However, because we're dealing with children's lives and we're dealing with their parents, we have to have a lot of care. We're not just selling a system where they plug it in and it works. We have to sell in the training.
It's a big project, and congratulations for taking the step. There's a lot of points here in terms of connecting into the social work system, working in line with the Children's Act. Best of luck with the journey, and when do you expect this to be fully up and running and transforming South Africa's society for young people?
Well, we're hoping that we would get our next batch of funding shortly, because we are working with Wits, and we have lined up the hospital, which is a very large hospital here in Gauteng. So we're hoping that people will come forward and help us to sponsor, and then maybe I'll be here before the end of the year telling you that we've launched the project.
Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.